So I'm going to start off by saying YT, I'm going to be doing free yes and no crystal ball on TikTok. So if you are on there to get free questions, you have to meet me on TikTok, but I fulfill my readings on this platform on YT, okay? Hey guys, how are you? I'm going to be starting the free sample readings. So these are the crystal ball sample readings. My tarot is open. So I'm in and out from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the stream, Eastern Standard Time. I do have a few spots for private readings. If you guys are interested in those, I only have like 2 or 3. And the rest are the 25 tarot on the stream. I'm going to be doing free yes and no samples with crystal ball momentarily as the stream loads a bit so we can get a better signal. I mean, not signal, sorry. Making sure the stream loads without issues. There we go. That's what I meant. Hey, how are you? Interesting. Today is the first quarter moon. Hey guys, how are you? I'm going to be starting free yes and no crystal ball. My tarot is open. I have tarot 25. So if you want to book a tarot 25, I have those. And I'm going to be doing free sample gazing. So if you have questions, I'm going to be starting those in a second. Oh, I'm well, thank you. So I offer a tarot and astrology as well, and other things also. Those are through my link, through my shop, I mean. I don't think you can say that word. All right, let's see. So Nacho Baby is asking, will Johnny and you reconcile in the relationship? So I do see a male being a bit aggressive with a female. This is in the past. So this could represent maybe a time where this person was, maybe there was some kind of like argument or altercation or something like that. It's not a good omen. If you have had trouble with someone before this person, sometimes that energy can cross. Are you aware of course you would be aware, I just don't know how to ask it. Are you remembering what I'm speaking of? Or in other words, I'm not going to continue reading on a situation that, you're not, was this person, like that, without getting into detail? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because it's either going to be this person that we're asking about or a connection that was right before. Okay, so what I'm seeing when you're asking the question about this man, okay, is that he was being aggressive, like grabbing the arm, specifically the arm of the female. It's either going to be you in that situation or something that he had before you that you would know about because, it's coming in with your question. So at this point, it's either going to be a person right before him that, like an ex, before he got involved. Maybe this is what he's stressed about. Sometimes a person involved with somebody, they could have an issue with, the person's past. Maybe somebody keeps bothering you. It's either going to be something like that, or maybe there was something involved with the person that, you know, he was with before you. But the vision is accurate. I just don't know how it fits your situation with him. So again, you're asking about if you and him are going to reconcile. And I'm seeing that a man is grabbing the arm of a female, and they're not like, you know, super. Remember, this is very censored. The way we're speaking here is very censored. I don't have the freedom to say everything clear. So if you can understand, I'm seeing it more like when a person's kind of like taken to that edge. So it's not out of hand kind of thing, but there was some aggression. So there's something heated, escalated in that moment, and he's grabbing her arm. So it's either, like I said, it's either going to be from you and someone in your past, and he's aware of that. So if it's that, then that would be the wedge. So you're asking about reconciliation with this man. So if the root of issues is coming from the fact that you guys argue a lot over your past, you know, this is an issue here. You need to identify what I'm saying. If you don't, if there's no clarity in the identification, it's accurate, 1000%, not 100, 1000. It's just that we need to understand, for me to keep reading, we need to place what's going on. Is it his past? Is it your past with somebody? Because this is the root of what's causing the issue of you and him. So for me to keep understanding, to answer whether you're going to reconcile, I need to because this is gazing. So this is not a whole full tarot story. These are reading samples. His past. Okay. So you're not sure. Okay. Which is fine. It's fine that you're saying it might be his past. You're not sure. Okay. Let me see what else I see with him. Okay. Because we need to clarify that before I keep going. 1 second. Let me go back to your original question. I'm going to ask it again. 1 second. Not because I'm looking for a change in the answer. I have the answer, but I'm looking for additional information to add, to see where else it goes. So let me go back to your original question to connect with it. Will Johnny and you reconcile? Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing a man in a conversation where the emotions are up and down all over the place, and it's heavy, whatever it is, and it's not. The female's trying to comfort the man, but the man is very heavy and very distraught. It's too heavy for something. Or like, for example, if there's some discord because of a disagreement, that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something heavy. So this lets me know that and the first time that I saw something, it was him being aggressive with a female, like holding her arm. So the emotion level on this man, men, no matter what, no matter what ethnicity, no matter what faith, no matter what background, usually guys are pretty mellow. Like when they're really, really upset, then they could, but usually guys are going to handle things more mellow, where females, we carry our emotions a little bit more up front. So, despite whatever sun sign you have, women are more vocal, more expressive in that way. And men, it has to be like in that scenario where they just, so for me to see this level of heaviness, he's got to be dealing with something pretty strong. So I first see that he's dealing with something where he's acting in aggression, but not that he's completely taking hold and being fully aggressive with her, but there is aggression in there, like a resistance. And then the second time around, I see a woman trying to comfort the man, almost worried that he can't deal with the scenario. This is a heavy set situation. So his problem is not just reconciling. He's dealing with something that's beyond the romantic connection. So this lets me know that there's something before. So the reconciliation lets me know that it's not that you and him are having an issue because of each other, but there's something he's carrying on his, his weight, where it's affecting the relationship. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it's really him. So because of this, I would say, okay, so yeah, so because if he can't address and fix and organize what he's going through, some people are therapy minded. Some people, address things with more physical activity. Whatever it is, he's got to address it, because so that the question is going to be answered right now. The answer is no. No. I do see that there's going to be talking again, close embrace and all of that, but that's not a reconciliation. That's topically, superficially coming back together only to have another pattern problem again. So what I'm saying to you is, unless he goes through steps where he stops the problem, then you're going to have a repetitive pattern that's destructive to the relationship or any relationship he tries to have thereafter. So superficially, yes. Deeply, no, is your answer. All right, and I suggest he deals with it. And his problem stems from a combination. I believe it's his upbringing, for something with a parental problem, but then it also merges into the first relationship he had before you. All right, Sally, has Liam been speaking about me to others recently? Speaking about you, I'm not going to ask it like that. You mean speaking gossip or lies? Be more specific, what you mean. All right. Karina, does Michael still want to be romantically involved with you again? Okay, Karina is asking about, Mikhail. Okay. Karina. No. The answer is no. The answer is, I see a woman trying to plead with the man in different ways, trying different techniques, different ways of approaching, kind of like walking on eggshells, putting up with certain responses, certain behaviors. The woman's really trying. And the male continues to have this wall up, almost like, is he secretive? Does he just not want to? I don't see a complete verbal spill of what is in thought or mind, but instead things left to the imagination, which is kind of shady. So the answer would be no. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, Peter, is Stacy thinking about you? All right. Peter's asking about Stacy. No. I don't see the female deeply involved in immersing herself in the love connection. I see you should be aware that there's someone else in her mind's eye. Not necessarily, an active connection, but something that she manifests. Just to be aware, okay, maybe the connection's early and it hasn't grown enough. Maybe that's it. So the answer is no, not to your level. It's not reciprocated. Because I see her with someone else, but not in a realistic way, just something that she's desiring. Okay, so the abstract form of that. Okay, Sally, has Liam been seeking out information about you recently? Seeking out information. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that. So maybe like a person trying to look like a background check or ask other people about you in an investigative way is what you're asking. I'll see what I see. It doesn't half the time I really don't pay attention to the question of the person because a lot of people lie. They'll say that they're, the wife and they're really the mistress, or they'll be asking about a friend and it's really a bed buddy. I don't really pay attention too much about the question. I do the way I form it because I'm speaking to spirits and they don't have eyes, legs, ears. You understand their energy. So I do have my way of asking. But a lot of times I cut right through and I just read on your energy instead of what you're asking and see what I see, because a lot of people lie. I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying, in general, I'm just not very trusting of people's words. Okay, here we go. Let me just find out what I see. All right. So I see a man approaching. He's tall. He seems quite tall. A little bit above average height. Not getting too caught up in exactly what his height is, but I see him next to a female, and she seems very short compared to his height. So that's why I'm saying he seems tall. He is approaching a female. I don't mean this second. I'm saying I'm obviously looking at a memory of recent past. So he's approaching a female who has a mobile phone in her hand, and he's waiting to get a response. So I would say because of that, yes. I don't really know what's going on. He is next to another male. So again, I don't know the stories. I'm not doing the full tarot, but that's your answer. So the answer would be yes. Yes, because he's asking, inquisitively. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Vanessa, will Khalil forgive or reconcile you? Okay. Those are two different questions. Forgiving and reconciling are different. We're going to ask about reconciliation. All right, we're going to ask about that. So Vanessa, Khalil. I would say no, because I see this man turning his focus into a new job, a new position, a new job, and it seems distant and different, like a new change. I would say because of that, no. That's the energy is no. Okay, in other words, a person that kind of outgrows that phase, and their reachability and their connection seems distant. That's why I'm saying to you, no. Okay. All right. So, Nikia, will you be successful in your new career? You could book an astrology with me if you'd like. That's what I do. Love soulmate connection is my specialty, but I do a lot of vocation. That's a big career thing. So if you have a question about specifically, are you going to get along with your boss, or are you going to be the one most recognized in your project? That would be more specific to the times. That's what I'm offering here. Big questions on destiny and stuff, you got to book with me. Okay, let's see. Alaya, do you see Jordan and I in a committed relationship? Okay, I can check for his current, by current I mean month or so. I can check on his current desire. All right, because we're checking on emotion. So I can look for that in Jordan. The longevity and destiny of what's going to happen, besides the free will part, yes, I can see that in astrology or a deep tarot, but I will look for currently his feelings. Okay, so Jordan for commitment, Alaya. Jordan. Yeah, the intention is there. Yes, I do. I see it getting closer. Yes, I do. Good for you. Congratulations. Okay, Morgan, does Chris want more than friendship with you? Okay, Chris and Morgan. It seems platonic to me. And there's something off about him. Yeah, there's something a bit odd about his energy. I would say platonic. It stays that way, and I see him, you know, doing something manual, like maybe a card game, or looking at something like with his hands. I really couldn't tell what it was, but something like, you know, not flipping through a book. It wasn't a book. It could be something on a phone or something. Anyway, the answer is distant. It doesn't really matter what he was doing, but no, I would say there's something off about him that you're not seeing, and there's also something odd, like something enough to stir him away from any kind of physical desire. So I don't know if he has like a bad history with somebody, or he's going through something. I don't know. There's something odd, but that doesn't matter. It would come out in a reading, but that part doesn't matter. What matters is the answer to your question. The answer is absolutely not. That is going to stay platonic. Okay, let's see. Brittany, will Raquel break no contact? Okay, so we're going to look for Raquel's energy with Brittany. Raquel. Okay, was this? I'm asking a rhetorical question. I have a habit of not asking the client a question. I'm asking it out loud. I'm wondering to myself if this is a romantic question, because I do see two people, you know, kissing, or at least about to. So if, and I can't tell their, you know, you can't say certain words on here, so I don't even want to try. Anyway, it's so censored, it's crazy. That's why when people book tarot with me, I do it on the other place. You can't even say. Anyway, so the answer is, if it's not between you and this person that you're asking about, which I don't know if it's female, whatever, but if it's not with that, then there's some issue with her and someone that you are into, because there's a problem there. Is it with you and her? You don't have to answer me, but I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if it's the person that you're asking about is not, it doesn't seem platonic to me. There's a romantic situation going on there. So it's either the fact that you and this person are an item in that way, or they have an issue with someone that you were involved with, because romance is wedging something there. So I would say the reconciliation part, I would say it's going to turn into a yes. That's to answer your question. It's going to turn into a yes, but there is definitely a complicated story there. Okay, so it is female, and you're both separated. Okay, so I would say yes. Yes, you will reconcile. Not right away smoothly, but yes, it's going to end up with a reconciliation. Thank you so much for your honesty. Okay, let's see. Diana, will Neff call you today? I'm not going to do phone calls or anything like that. I'm just going to ask on the way they feel about you. I would say there's physical interest, romantic interest, but it seems to me very one-minded. So in other words, this person may be looking for a good time, not necessarily a long time. So I won't be able to evaluate the situation if I don't do a reading on it. So these are samples. But the answer, I would say, is exactly as plainly as I just said it. Charmaine, is Mustafa coming back to you? Okay, Charmaine, we're checking on Mustafa. Okay. There's a really weird energy with that question. Is it legit? uh, it seems like the question you're asking, I don't know, there's something off about it. I'm sorry, but I'm very honest. There's something off about it. So either you know about a piece of the story and you're trying to either get like confirmation on something, or there's something switched in the question. There's something intentionally off about it. So I'm going to skip on it. I like straight up. Okay, Alexandria, do Quarren still has feelings for you? I'll answer it like this. The connection of Quarren to you, I don't see it active. Okay? We're going to leave it at that. There's no activity on it. That means that if you want to wake that up, that would take its course with a different plan. And for that, I do that during my readings. Okay? That's the answer I have for you. Mariah, Melkor, and you talk every day, didn't hear from him yesterday. Will he contact you? Okay, I understand. So let's see, Melkor. He will be contacting you, but he is physically involved with another woman. Just now, if he's single, he's doing nothing wrong. You know, he's not going to just, it depends. If he starts like talking, if a man starts talking to a female, because I see that there's this online thing. I'm not seeing this deep, like you know him very well. I think that maybe you think you do, but you don't, clearly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, flag, very red flag. If he's just mingling and trying to see people and stuff, you know, obviously he's not going to sit there being, you know, closed off to the world if he's a single bachelor. But okay, if so, it's very new connection. I think that if you and him escalate to a point where he's you know, obviously you're being picked from the group of all the women that he's been having tea with or whatever, and you're like the one that he's choosing, you know, okay, it would be expected that he close off all connection with everybody else, take off his online dating apps, delete them and close them off, because that's the process of when a person's chosen, right? I'm telling you, there's something a little sneaky and dirty about him. So that doesn't mean cut that connection. It means open your eyes. It means continue your connection, because he's going to continue to initiate that. But don't be a fool. Open your eyes. Realize, you know, put him through some tests, put him through some scrutiny, put him through some, you know, baby steps, put up your boundaries. Take things very careful and slow, be wise, because he's, at this point, has to really prove to you, not with his words, but for you to just randomly borrow his phone or ask him different things, you know, just, you know, low key, because I'm seeing that, yeah, I'm seeing that he should, it's not normal for him to be that physically involved when he's really trying to find the right person. I'm sorry, but I read for thousands of men all around the world. That's not normal behavior. Like, it's okay if he has like a, you know, a friend with benefit and he's been alone and, you know, whatever, and, you know, it's very, you know, random or whatever. But it seems like this person's highly promiscuous. That's not really the normal behavior of somebody looking to start a relationship that's real with a woman. That's someone adding names to his little contacts, you see? You don't want to be a statistic, sweetheart. So open your eyes. I don't like that guy. Okay, Samantha, does Richie want to try again with you in a relationship? Okay, so Richie. Yeah, but there's a problem. He feels that you throw a lot of things in his face. So the way you are you a Virgo? Are you an earth sign? Do you have like an earth sign, sun or rising? Virgo sun, Virgo moon. Okay. So not to offend you, okay? But the way your style of handling him, even though you have the right idea, the way that you're very structured, the way that you mean business, and you're a sure thing, right? And that's the way to be in life. But you know, the way that he's taking it, the way that he internalizes your method of treating him or dealing with him, you know, the way he's taking it in is very judgmental. So it has him on edge, and I think that it can sour things, especially if he's a water sign. So if he's got any water, it can make things a tad rough for both of you. Because I do see a reconciliation, but I see that it's really, it's a communication problem. He's Aquarius sun, Gemini moon, Cancer rising. So he's a water rising. Yeah, he's a water rising. The Gemini moon I'm not worried about at all. The Aquarius sun, he has his phases. He has his phases. It's that Cancer rising that's very dominant and very sure of what he allows, what he doesn't allow, what he feels, what he doesn't feel, and that can come back and really clash with yours. So I think because there can be a lot of heated arguments here, a lot of like words, rough words, because the walls are up, and the words can be brutal, you know, because of fears, because of worries, and then what's felt in the heart is tender stuff. So there's a lot of feeling here, but the way it's carried through. So I would say it's agreeing to understand. I think it's a communication. Understanding that at some point you guys clash and you have to work around those clashes, because you can really hurt the relationship, honestly. You will end up thinking that he doesn't love you, and he will end up thinking that, you know, he's not good enough for you, that he's always wrong, you know. So you got to work on that. Okay. All right, hope that helped. Okay. Danielle, do you see reconciliation with Danielle and you? Okay. Okay, so I know you didn't ask this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you a different thing you need to know. Okay? I can't control what I see. So I do see you preoccupied very soon with maybe small children, or maybe it's helping someone else and their issues. It's when someone is doing some, it's like very family oriented energy. Like when someone has a flood in their house and you're gonna bring them stuff to help them out, or you know, something like that. Don't take what I said literally, it's figurative, but I'm just saying that it's that kind of concept. You're going to be, so you're asking about a love connection, and I'm here trying to tell you that the highest level of energy surrounding you is so thick that that's what I'm seeing first. And I'm seeing that there's going to be something pressing, a pressing matter, where you get very, you know, connected to helping or addressing that part. So whatever. So if it's you and small children, there's going to be something where you have to like pack things up, hurry up, There's something that there's a sense of hurrying to address something, you know. Sometimes those are things due to weather. Sometimes it's due to things like vehicles, things in the household. Maybe it's an issue where, you know, someone's having a problem and you're going over there fast. I don't know. All I know is, you know, these are sample readings, so I just get a piece of it. And that's the answer that I have for you. So it supersedes the love question, okay? All right, it is what it is. Take it or leave it. Okay. Bianca, will Devante fully commit to you? I already asked about Devante, did I not? So I'm not going to answer that because nobody can. So I'm an astrologer specializing in love. And if you and him there's a marriage that's destined, a marriage is a technical situation, right? If you and him are meant for a very, you know, lifelong romance, that's also technical because it's when two people are within each other's lives. But when someone commits, it's an internal thing. It's their decision. I can check on if he's willing. What a person can do in divination is they can look for sections of time. Yes, this person's very dedicated to you. A person can ask again. Yes, this person seems very committed. And you can see the mental effort, the emotional effort on the love person. Those are energy checks. And that's very seen. But if a person's going to do it forever, only God has that answer. Sorry, sweetie. I'm not God. I don't pretend to be. That's the only person that can you know, the only entity, the only energy in the world that can see forever of an emotion. What psychics can do is we can look for sections of gaps of time, because that's free will. We're not robots. So the forever part, well, you can ask me that question, but I can answer it right now, you know, in this phase of time. I don't mean this precise minute and second happening right now, right? So in phases of time you can ask, is the relationship good for the year? How's the love relationship going to go for most of 2026 or something like that? Okay. All right, Kayla, a lot of people want the forever answer immediately. Nobody has forever, sweetheart. We don't live forever. Okay, Kayla, will October be a good month for you? In what way? Because I do horoscopes. As an astrologer, I give my clients horoscopes. And sometimes they want money. Sometimes their eye is on a family matter. Sometimes it's a court case. It depends. There's a lot of things in life. All right, I can see what question there is in a financial way if you want to narrow that down, and I'll ask. All right, I'm willing to ask, but it has to fit my free sample format. Okay, Polly, are you and are over? All right, let's find out. I normally don't do letters, you know, but it's okay. I don't really need the name or anything, but I usually hate letters, but that's fine. I'll do this one, Polly. No, I don't see you and R being over. But I do see that it's going to be a while before you connect again with him, you know, with them. It's going to be a little while. So I would say patience. Patience, and also do your part in, you know, kind of catering to what that person emotionally needs as well. So it's not over. The connection still remains. It's still deep. It's still important. You know, this person feels it. You feel it. It's not over at all. But it's not something that you push a button and you get a result right away. You know. So be patient. I would give it 6 to 8 months, something like that, just to give you an idea. Okay. So let's see today. So we are in the end of September. So, you know, start October being like month 1 and count up 6 to 8 to give you an idea. Okay. All right, let's see. Meadows asking, is there a message for you from your father? He passed. Okay, may he rest in peace. You can do a mediumship with me, and that's where I will find that out. So this is for the living, what I'm doing right now. This is for people that want to ask about their career, their love life, things like that. If you want me to go ahead and do a mediumship, I will channel, and we can make contact. Okay, sweetheart? I'm evidential, so if you do book, I don't want any information on the person, all right? All right, let's see. Lisette, is it over with Manuel? Lisette. In a way, yes, in a way, no. Let me explain. If I had to squeeze an answer, whether it's yes or no, I would say yes, it is. But let me explain what I mean by, partially yes, partially no. So this person's style is not to cut someone out of their life drastically. This person's style is that they'll have bouts of moments where they're close to someone and then they won't allow it, and then they will, and then they won't. I see that there has been things in history, your history with him, where it's kind of shaped him to, in other words, the way that the history has shaped the relationship, the couple, the way that you both think about each other, it's left a couple marks and dents in him. And he seems a person that's not going to stop a cynical way of behavior, a critical way of behavior, a hard mouth, a verbal attacks sometimes. The way that he sees you, it almost seems like you throw yourself at him, I hate to say, kind of like beg for his, without literally begging, but hypothetically begging, it's still the same, where you make yourself easily available to him, and he knows that. And this kind of power trip kind of thing is, okay with him. So I would say it's not over because you make it easy. Is he going to chase you and be chivalrous and romantic and correct in every way and kiss your feet? No, I don't see that in his personality. Absolutely not. But I do see him accepting that you become available to him. Okay, so, yep. Okay, hope that helps. Marcy, does Carlos want to reconcile? Carlos. Yes. I see the relationship troubled, though, to just be honest with you. So when I gaze, I usually give a person the answer of this moment in time. So something that's current to the times. So a couple of weeks, a month and a half, something like that. But sometimes, as you've heard me say, sometimes I address really long term. And this is one of those cases. Because when when it's there, it's there. And the reason is there's a lot of self-esteem problems with him, and there's a lot of things that you expect from him or will be expecting from him on an emotional and psychological nourishment type of deal where, to fit your needs of what you need emotionally in a relationship that he's not delivering. And he can't. So it's flawed, but it does have its it's still going to be thriving for a while, and by thriving, I just mean that the energy's high. It doesn't mean that it's flourishing. So it doesn't mean that you both and him are in a very happy place. I see that it's a work in progress, but I see that his self-esteem and lack of communicating to you in the right way is a problem. Leaves you wondering, and in doubt. Yeah. All right, lack of consistency. All right, now there are males that way, and that's their personality, but in this case, I do see that there's a self-esteem problem. All right, let's see. You and Sebastian, Sagittarius, would like to know if Morgan, Virgo, is gonna be happy with the voicemail that you left. Okay, did you leave the voicemail already? Or did you leave the voicemail? Or are you going to? Okay, you left because I'm asking a question about the past and the future. So I have to be very careful on how I ask that. So I'm going to the past because you left it already. I'm not doing something called hypothetical future. So you have to place me where it happened. So you left it already, and you want to know how they will feel. So they may have read it and they may have not read it. Okay, okay. So first let's find out if they've read it. Okay. Okay, I believe they have not read it. 1 second. 1 second. Let me go back to the question a minute. I get a sense, I don't know what's going on, but I get a sense that they haven't read it on purpose. Now they can probably see a piece of it, okay? Because sometimes you can see like a snippet of it, whether they have their read receipts on or off. Number one, let me tell you, I don't feel at least up to this point, I don't think they've read it. But then when I look further, it almost seems like they purposely won't, or purposely don't want to. I don't know what the story is there, but there's something. Okay, but besides that, yeah, I don't doubt that it's probably because they're sleeping. I agree with you. But besides that, I'm going further than that. Okay, but I'm going further than that. I'm trying to tell you more information. There's something about the energy of you and this person that is kind of like in murky waters. There's something very like on eggshells. There's something not, there's definitely something rigid in that picture. So what I'm trying to say to you is, it seems like this person is not acting organically. They're acting calculated. Let me explain. A person grabs their phone, and if they're upset, you see the upsetness. If they're happy, you see the happiness. This is a very natural feeling. I'm going to act however I need to act when I'm grabbing this phone, and it's just, you can see the emotion, right? When a person is calculated, they're going to read it and go, I don't know. Should I be like this? Should I be like this? I don't know. You see? So there's something very calculated about this. So I would say it's not so much about how they feel, it's how they feel how much they can trust. So there's an issue with you and them in the past that's big. So my answer to you, are they going to be happy? No. There's a trust problem, is what I'm trying to tell you. I hope that helps. Okay, JJ, will you and John work things out and actually get married? Okay. Okay, this is really freaking weird. I have to explain this. The person you're asking about has, I'm not going to describe what I'm seeing because you're going to probably laugh at me. But I got to say, there's got to be, I'll clean it up before I say it, but there's got to be something very spatial about this person. So maybe they love astronomy. Maybe maybe they're into gaming that is very intergalactic. Maybe they're into some sci-fi stuff that's very planetary. I don't know if that describes them, but it's interesting. I thought that was funny. The energy that they come with, you know, like the way I'm seeing them. I saw a man in a spacesuit, and it's like, what the hell? He's not an astronaut, but it was funny. And you know, it sounds weird, but don't laugh at me. It just represents there's something about his style or his passions or his things that he's into. Yeah, Halloween's around the corner. I doubt he's going to be an astronaut. So it could be the game Halo. I don't know. But there's something that describes him in that way. I would say that when we're looking at, besides the funny stuff, I would say that when it comes to feelings, this person seems like they're always trying to get across to you, and you seem like you ignore them. So there's a very big pet peeve there. There's like this history of, I try to tell you something and you go against me. You know, I try to have you do something that you don't cooperate with me. I say that I see the reconciliation does occur. I don't see a marriage per se just yet. I believe this person is scared and pissed. A mixture of being scared and pissed. It's not something they hold on to every day, but I'm saying like when you're going to the root of the problem, right? So it's something that they hold on to, even though today they could be in a good mood. So this is what I see. Hope that helps. It's kind of funny. A man in a spacesuit. Okay, let's see. So I always tell people that you can go ahead and spam. Spamming helps me because I don't ignore anybody. And if you put your question a lot, it helps because I try to go in order, but it's impossible because the chat's always moving. Okay, so I see I'm getting a lot of them, so I'm gonna go back, try to go a little bit further to see if I missed anybody. All right. Okay, so I see Sarah, Marie, and Brittany. Okay, there's a couple other people. I just want to make sure that I didn't skip a lot, and then I'll go back to those three. Let's see. Okay. All right, so the first one is, oh, they just moved. Wait, I think it was Sarah, and then Nikki, and then, no, and Brittany, right? Okay, so I saw, okay, Brittany was first. Okay, will Melissa reach out to reconcile romantic, okay, will Melissa reach out to reconcile your romantic relationship? Okay, so you're asking about Melissa. Brittany's asking about Melissa. Yes, yes, I do. I see one person being more brunette or more like a darker hair color than the other person. Not that that matters, but it just for some reason is something. Here's the thing. I see that one person in the relationship, I think it's the one we're asking about. Yeah, because in a love question, two people are interwoven, right? So the energy becomes one. But to distinguish, it seems like the person that's farther away from the querent. So you're the querent. So it seems like it's maybe them. They seem like the stronger one in the relationship, like the one that is more determined, the one that solves the problems. the one that takes more initiative, I guess, in a way. So stronger meaning like in their bravado, or and I do see references to childhood and references to a child. So that I'm not sure what that has to do with the story, but yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot of plans. There's a lot of things, and I keep seeing, no matter what, a small child / baby, however you want to describe, as a theme in the picture.